This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things Black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond.
When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street. When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black.
Greetings, and welcome to this edition of Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. We are focused on serial and social entrepreneurship today. But first, today, not only do we mourn the loss of former President George H.W. Bush, but we also mourn the loss of Dr. Olivia Hooker, the oldest survivor of the Tulsa race riots of 1921. Dr. Hooker was the first Black woman to serve in the U.S. Coast Guard and was a professor at Fordham University. She lived in the Greenwood neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street, which was home to thriving Black-owned businesses and over 10,000 well-to-do Black families. It was one of the most prominent concentrations of African-American businesses in the United States during the early 20th century. She passed at the age of 103 just before the Thanksgiving holiday. Our first guest actually hails from the state of Oklahoma and is Mr. George Pitts. George is a virtual business strategist, speaker, and founder of George Pitts & Company Consulting Group. With over 10 years of experience in the online business arena, George has helped many startup and helped to build multiple income streams with the skill sets and life experience that many already possess. George has established multiple streams of income, both online and offline, by leveraging his skill sets and life experiences. He believes that your skill sets, life experiences, and talents are your biggest asset. He's seen success in many areas of business, including e-commerce, consulting, staffing, and he's built several streams of income via stocks and investing, real estate, live streaming, and much more. George is a tech enthusiast with a background in IT systems engineering. He enjoys traveling, spending time with his young family, cooking, and attending sporting events. George, how are you today?
I am blessed. How are you this morning?
I am blessed as well. Welcome to the show. I got to tell you, I love your mantra, activate your gifts, monetize your passions. Let's talk about that for starters.
Thank you. Well, the whole idea of that was many people, I believe have gifts that they just don't have activated. Many times, when we get into the workplace or when we get into a specific situation, sometimes it's we get sidetracked and we start to disable our gifts and we replace those with the gifts that we're trained to use to help somebody else's gifts go to another peak, so to speak. And so what I like to do is help people kind of dust off those gifts and activate them. And then, many times once you start to realize what your gifts are, your passions start to change, or you even find what your passion is, and, then we show you how to monetize that. So that's the whole mantra of that. And, it's been something that I've been living by now for a while, and helped a lot of people as well live by the same mantra.
I can certainly relate. Let me ask you, what's your story? How did you evolve to this work?
So it's quite interesting. So I worked for a large hotel chain for a while, and it all started, and I'll try to go through this as fast as possible. But it all started. I was struggling in this particular job that I was in, and I went and asked for help. I had never really worked in the accounting area before. I've always been a tech guy, but at the time, that's the job I was able to find. And so I'd asked for help and asked, for some assistance to really get to learn it because there wasn't any training with it. And the next day I was told, they just didn't have time to do that, and they would let me go 2 weeks before Christmas.
Wow.
And so, whenever you lose a job during the holiday season, it takes a while to find one because, you have people that are out during the holidays, they're spending time with their families, PTO. So not a lot of people are interviewing, hiring. So that could be a 2-month process right there. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up having to turn my vehicle back in because we were struggling. We were already living paycheck to paycheck. And I told myself, because it was really embarrassing. I was newlywed, and it was horrible. And I told myself, I said, I will never get back into this position again. The next time that I get into a job and I'm making some money, I'm going to make any extra disposable income work for me. I'm not going to go buy new clothes, new shoes, vacation. I'm not doing any of that. And I just started to research and learn about just different things. And one of the skill sets after I got back into IT that I got into was IT consulting. And what I found was that, I was just doing some thinking one day. I said, you know what? There's small businesses that can't afford a full IT staff like most medium and large size businesses do. Mm-hmm. And I just started reaching out to them. And I'll be honest with you, it was like every 10 calls I made, at least 4 people were like, yes, come in. We'd love to talk to you. I mean, it was like they were just waiting on somebody to call.
Wow.
And it changed everything. And then once I started to realize that, my skills are needed and all the other things, I just started to look and at other areas that I've had and skills that I had and start to monetize those as well. But that's how I got started, just doing some cold calling, some old school cold calling, and introducing what I had and then just putting everything together slowly as I went.
Phenomenal story. If you just tuned in, you're listening to Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. We are with Mr. George Pitts, the founder of George Pitts Company. He is a business consultant and strategist. George, talk a little bit about the services that you provide now.
So the services that I provide now is I do one-on-one coaching, but I teach my clients, and what we do is I like to, find clients that are basically, either in the workplace, out of the workplace, or even have their own businesses that they're looking to find a way to monetize them. I'm really good at helping people figure those kind of things out. We also do credit repair classes where we teach people not just about fixing their credit, but about building it as well as managing their finances so they don't get back into that type of situation.
Yeah.
We also teach people, I have some courses that I teach on helping people build websites to where they can monetize.
Can I interrupt you right there, George?
Sure,
I've got to touch on this credit repair piece. I know that this is a burgeoning and booming field. I know several individuals that specialize in credit repair. First of all, can you talk about sort of the evolution of the credit repair industry? And then specifically, how is it that you empower people to improve their credit scores?
So basically what I do is the first thing is, that industry, it's let me tell you this, it's a game. And it's a game that if you understand how to play it, you can win. Because at the end of the day, it's the players that lose are the ones that don't understand the rules of the game.
Got it.
And, what I try to tell people is that the first thing that you want to understand is that you have more rights and more as a consumer, you have more rights and you have more leverage than you may feel. There's a lot of times when people feel that they owe someone or a collection agency calls, they become a victim of hiding from their phone, not answering numbers they don't recognize, and really just become, in fear for answering the phone for numbers that aren't in their contact book. And, I basically teach people no, you need to take the fight back to them. You need to set the rules. You need to say, look, you can't call me here. You can't do this. You need to call out these different laws because I've read the Fair Credit Reporting Act upside down, sideways, and every which way you can. And there's a lot of that's one of the very few laws that I think was actually written to where it gave debitors, so to speak, a lot more power than normal other laws do. So that's what we try to do is just try to instill in people that you actually have more leverage in this whole situation than the other person does. Because it's all a game. It's really all a game. I mean, most of the time when you when you owe a company, and that gets beyond either 120 days or 180 days, most companies write that off. And then they sell that debt. So they write off 100% of the debt, but then they also sell it at a reduced rate for a profit.
Right.
So if you owe someone $1,000, they're going to write that $1,000 off on their taxes, which is going to lower their taxable income, right? And so then they're going to sell it to a third party for maybe 30% of what you owe, so $300. So not only did they just write off $1,000 probably at least 1,000 times with 1,000 other people just like you, but they also just made a small profit because they've made an additional $300 that they're not going to claim. They're going to claim as a loss.
George, hold that thought. For folks that may just be tuning in, Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham, having an incredible conversation now with George Pitts about the credit repair industry and sort of the empowerment that the Fair Credit Act actually provides consumers. So go ahead with that. I think this is important. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, and I just try to teach people about those different laws and kind of how it works because, there's a law out there for collection activity. Okay. And a lot of collection activity, they don't follow those laws. But because the consumers don't understand those laws and they don't understand even some of the government agencies that were actually spawned to help consumers who go through this, they just take it. And some people end up sending them money and giving them access to their checking accounts and giving them their credit card numbers. And, some of these collection agencies are ran out of basements, garages, because I'm going to be honest with you, I had even thought about starting a collection agency because it's so easy and it's not as regulated as you would think. But it's now I wouldn't run it the way that some of them run it. I was on the other end of that too. I think if you show compassion, there's a lot of things that you could do. But, their job is to get as much money as they can as possible. If you owe $1,000, they bought it for $300. They've got about $700 to play with. So that's why they send you letters saying, we got this one-time offer. If you respond in 10 days, we will knock your $1,000 balance down to $700, and we will update your credit report as paid. Well, what they say is that it's a paid settled, which then resets your statute of limitation. So right. If you were supposed to be, if this debt was supposed to fall off in 7 years and you're in year 5, well, the first 3 years, a negative debt does most of its damage. And then as it gets older, the debt starts to take less impact on your score, which a lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. And so when you go and you pay that, what happens is that statute of limitation resets. It gets updated as you paid it. You pay, what is it called? It's called a paid negotiated or paid settlement. And so when someone like an underwriter is looking at that, they're like, okay, they paid less than what they owed on this. And if you're like in review for a mortgage or an auto loan and it gets to an underwriter, they're going to feel a little nervous about that because it shows that you didn't make your fulfilled payment. And so we teach you, how to get that removed, how to actually get that thing lowered because, they're coming at you with like, we're going to give you 30% off, but then we're going to counter with that. They don't expect counters. And when they see that you understand the law and what you're talking about, they change their tune very different. And so that's what we do. We put the empowerment back into the people.
So talk about a little bit about your results in terms of credit repair. Maybe give a specific scenario. What kind of gains have you been able to help people make?
So I had, this summer I did a credit repair class and we did our first one in May. We had so many people sign up because I like to do them live. I have some self-paced videos and then we meet once a week to ask questions, to give demos and stuff. Well, we ended up doing over 150 people throughout the summer. And we had one person just told us in my live broadcast last week that her score shot up 118 points in 3 months.
That's huge.
Yeah, and I had another person who had went through a credit repair company, and that's a whole different story. That's another game as well. She was with a credit repair company for 2.5 years and saw an 18-point increase in a 2.5-year period. She took my course, and she was able to see 80 points increase in 2 months. And she's closing on her house on the 15th of this month.
Congratulations. So George, are you providing these credit repair coaching sessions or classes all over the country, or do I have to be in Oklahoma in order to take advantage of your program?
No, it's 100% online. So we meet virtually through a Zoom room, and we've helped people from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, North and South, you name it, we've helped.
Phenomenal. So I know that's just a piece of what you do. What other kind of services are you providing aside from the credit repair?
So outside of credit repair, we have a personal finance course that we're implementing where we're going to be helping people get their budgets in order, helping them save money, and giving them a system and a process to start investing money.
Okay.
Many people think that the stock market is for rich people or for people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's not true. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get people to take control of their finances and really start to improve their overall wealth. So we're going to be doing a wealth building course. Of course, we do e-commerce where we're showing people how they can actually start their own online stores or even leverage other platforms such as eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Poshmark, and many others to build their own online store because, as you know, retail is just suffering right now, but online retail is thriving.
Yes, it is.
So we're teaching people how to get into the ground floor of these thriving markets so that people can be a part of that because you're seeing like Poshmark. Poshmark wasn't heard of 3 or 4 years ago, and now it's one of the biggest e-commerce platforms out there. Same with Etsy. We're going into that type of market. So we're just trying to get people into places where it's thriving, where the money's at, and where they can experience their own level of success. Because there's a lot of success to be experienced. They don't call the U.S. the land of opportunity for nothing. It's just that many people outside of this country that wasn't born here don't see the benefits see the benefits better than some of us who are here because we become a product of our environment, and we're trying to basically get people to remove those social glasses, so to speak, and get that 20/20 vision at the opportunities that are available right in front of them.
I absolutely love it. If you've just tuned in, this is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today. We're having a conversation with George Pitts out of Oklahoma, who's talking to us about a number of services that he provides. I've got to ask you this, George. With so much change in the marketplace, how is it that you're kind of staying on top of your game?
I'm going to tell you, I love that question because I've been actually talking about this a lot. You have a lot of people that are selling lifestyles. You've got people that are coming on and they're like, oh, I made, $100,000 2 weeks ago or in 2 weeks. And, people are, investing a lot of this money into these courses, learning about how to do that. And what they're not seeing is that there's a lot that goes into that. You're talking about someone that has, over 100,000 followers or over 50,000 people on their mailing list so they can sell a $10 product. And if 20% of those people buy it, then they're going to be in the game. And so what I try to do is I try to connect with people and meet them where they are. Yeah. By just explaining kind of where I was at and touching on just some of the benefits of how these things can change your life. But, I tell people all the time, you got to make $1 before you can make 100. That's just how it is. It's a process. And so I try to explain things very, very simple. I don't talk over people's head. Sometimes I'll break things down a little too much, but I like to teach. When you look at Jesus taught at a very elementary level. He didn't teach at a level to where, where we may experience and whenever we leave this life. But he had to do that because some people can't understand that level of teaching yet. And so that's kind of where I teach. I like to just teach from a very straightforward, easy to understand standpoint, but also just from reading and staying up with current events. I read a lot on the tariffs and what they mean and how that stuff's going to go. I go and I get on a lot of public companies, earnings calls. Public companies like Amazon and eBay, they have earnings calls every quarter, and you can learn a lot from those calls because they let you know what things they're going to do. And so because they drop those hints in those, I know where markets are going or what companies are about to do or what's about to come in. So I spend a lot of my free time trying to stay ahead of the ball and educating people. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm telling you guys. This is something that's going to happen. And then when they start to see it, that's when people are like, okay, this guy's pretty solid, because I like to stay ahead of things. And I saw something big that happened just a few months ago that I called on one of my live broadcasts about Disney. And whenever it went through, people were just like, wow, so it's really just staying up with current events, not trying to sell people, not trying to spend my day figuring out how I can get money out of somebody's pocket, but spending my day learning how I can help people get to the next level with me.
That's so good. So if I had to recap that, so the two things that kind of keep you on top of your game are, first, being relatable, making sure you're able to reach people right where they are, and then second, just keeping an ear to, I guess, trends in the marketplace. Would you say?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So if you had to give advice to someone brand new to business, maybe someone's having that very difficult lesson that you had several years back, where maybe they're facing job loss or some other unemployment kind of situation, what would you say to someone just starting out, maybe considering entrepreneurship for the very first time?
My advice, and I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell everyone else: always start when there's not a reason to. And when I say that, many times we feel that when everything's going good, the paychecks are rolling in, direct deposits are coming, we had a good day yesterday at work, we got a kudos, everything is smiling Hallmark cards, so we continue to just let that cycle run. That's the best time to prepare. Prepare whenever there's nothing to prepare for. So when there is something to prepare for, you got a level of defense of to prevent certain things from happening. And just to understand that business is not going to be flourishing right off the bat. Anyone that tells you that you're going to see instant success and this is how I did this, you need to really look at the surface and understand what it is you're getting into. Many times we get into something because we hear somebody else had a level of success. Well, they may have a passion in that. So make sure that you understand what you're getting into so that you know if you're going to be able to handle that for the long haul, because, it's not for everybody. And you got to be able to understand what area you're going to be that you're going to thrive in the best, because your business is only going to go as you go. And if you get into it for all the wrong reasons and you don't have that fire in your belly to go where you need to go, where your business ain't going to go either. So,
absolutely, I think we can all attest to that. So just looking ahead, as we're wrapping up here, what courses do you have coming up, and how is it that people can connect with you?
So the course that I have coming up right now from the summertime will actually be the credit course. We're going to be doing that in January.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing our credit course in January, and then we're going to go right into helping people build their first income stream through helping them establish a business online. So those are the things that we got coming up for the first quarter of 2019. You can reach me on, my website at georgepittsco.com.
Okay.
Or, of course, I'm on all social media platforms at George Pitts Co. So, you can reach out to me. My team is very, very responsive, and we try to get to as many people as we can. And if you got suggestions or things that you want to learn or hear or that we don't have made available, let us know. And like I said, we'll work on putting it together. But very accessible. I live stream pretty much, every almost daily throughout the week on Periscope and Instagram. So I'm definitely not hard to find when it comes to that.
George, how long is the credit course?
The credit course is a total of 4 weeks. We meet weekly, but it'll take you, to go through that entire course. We tell people for the self-paced part, it's about a 6-week thing, but we meet for 4 weeks, and we start to establish things right away, and we give you that empowerment and all the tools and everything that you need in that 4 weeks to be able to go through that process, for a period of time that it may take, because some person might have, mediocre credit with only a few things, and some person might have pages of negative things that will take months. But we give you enough tools and confidence to not only take care of yours, but to even take care of your families, your friends and spouses and things like that.
I got to tell you, I really love the timing of this upcoming course. Obviously, New Year, people are looking to make changes, but then also, preparing for tax season, you're definitely providing a better way for them to utilize their upcoming resources. So I think it's great. George, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And joining us for this segment of Add This to the List is Mr. Don Carey. I just want to say a few words about Don. He truly believes that success isn't defined by the number of goals we reach, but by the number of people we reach. He is a celebrated and newly retired NFL player, author, speaker, CEO, philanthropist, and activist. He's on a mission to use his influence to help others find success. He's been a valuable player in the NFL for 10 years, making an impact on and off the field. In 2016, he was nominated as Detroit Lions Walter Payton Man of the Year for his commitment to community service. The Detroit Lions Alumni Foundation awarded him again for his continued dedication to serving his community in 2017. And just this year, he was awarded Norfolk State University's Graduate of the Last Decade Award. He spent much of his off-season time traveling to speak at various organizations, colleges, and grade schools, where he taught, challenged, and inspired others. And his first book, It's Not Because I'm Better Than You. Don shared his personal story and the principles he used to find success. Currently studying to receive his master's in theological studies with a focus on the Old Testament at Moody Theological Seminary, Don received his bachelor's degree in building construction technology from NSU shortly before he was drafted into the NFL. He also founded Ascension Realty, which is a real estate company based out of Chesapeake, in 2012, where he remains the managing partner. Don, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about the REACH Foundation.
Sure. So REACH is an acronym, stands for Reaching, Educating, and Empowering Children in the Area of STEAM. STEAM is an acronym in itself, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And my wife and I wanted a way to give back to the next generation. All of our adult lives, we've been in that role of service to the community, and the STEM sector is one that's very important to me, having my bachelor's in building construction. So
Absolutely.
Naturally, if I was going to give back, I was going to try to give back in this area.
Fantastic. So which population are you serving exactly through the REACH Foundation?
Are you talking about cities?
Cities, what age groups? Yeah.
Sure. So typically, our summer camps range from 6 to 17, students ages 6 to 17, and available to all cities in Hampton Roads. Our in-school sessions are for high schoolers. So we typically operate within a typical high school in the area. But again, that's available to all 7 cities too.
Wow, I'm excited. I know you had a huge program that you ran this summer. Tell us a little bit about the success of just those initial efforts.
Sure. So we had our STEAM Day and Youth Football Camp. And a lot of football players like to combine their camps with a cause that is meaningful to them. So in essence, what we did wasn't unique in that standpoint, but it was very unique in the fact that we merged ours with the STEM sector. And the way we did it is kind of cool. We bring in different companies in the STEM sector from the local area into one place, and we kind of surround the students in kind of like a career seminar type deal. And the goal is to use football as a hook to educate the students about the possibilities that exist within their own backyard. And we're hoping that students say, hey, I didn't know Hampton Roads had that available. Let me go do that instead of wanting to go to a Charlotte, Atlanta, New York, or Texas. We can stay right within our own home, be successful, and make a difference, and establish a legacy of success and letting people from the next generation see success from someone who looks like them.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, that's huge. I mean, I agree with you that that's what our students need, right? And when I look at Hampton Roads, I see a region that is somewhat depressed because most of our talent has been outsourced, right?
Yeah.
We go to DC, we go to Atlanta, we go to Charlotte. And so it's great to hear that this is your mission. What other things does REACH have on the horizon?
Sure. So immediately, we've partnered with Charles Black from 95.7 to host a toy and clothes drive, right? And it'll be benefiting children in Norfolk and Chesapeake. We're working with the school boards of each city to identify the families who are in need, right? And
fantastic.
Right, so we're super excited about that. People can find more information on our website, reachfoundation.org, to find locations where they can donate their new or gently used clothes or new toys for all ages. We would greatly appreciate that.
Give us the website once more.
Reach Foundation, REECH Foundation.org.
Okay, got it. All right, and the toy drive goes until
December 15th.
December 15th.
Yep, so now until December 15th.
Okay. And I assume on the website we can find drop-off locations and all those details.
We have drop-off locations in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Chesapeake.
I love it. I want to hear more about the Don Carey story, sort of how this philanthropic mission evolved. Your entrepreneurship is certainly something I want to talk about. And I actually want to open up the phone lines if you don't mind.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, okay. So give us a call at 757-727-5711. We're blessed and fortunate to have Mr. Don Carey in the studio. So if you've got questions, feel free to call in. Again, it's 757-727-5711. Go ahead, Don. Tell us about the evolution of this mission.
Sure. Well, I'm one of those individuals who believe that in some respect, we are all the sum of the experiences we've had,
Absolutely.
right, in our youth. And being raised primarily by a single mother, my earlier years, we were able to make it due to the generosity and charity from others, right? So I know to no fault of my mother's own being when my father walked out on us that she was forced in a situation that she didn't want to be in, but she had to make do with what she had. But it was from the love and the generosity of others that we were able to sustain ourselves, right? So we weren't asking for a handout, more like a hand up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So now that I'm an adult, I took on that mindset that true success is not only defined by the number of milestones we obtain for ourselves, but also by the number of people we reach back and pull along the way, right? So every single thing that I do, apart from my family, is to help someone else see the possibility of success in their own lives. And not only see that, but give them a hand up and get into that point.
Wonderful. Hey, if you've got a question for Don Carey, again, the number is 757-727-5711. We're having a conversation about giving back, about social entrepreneurship, something that is a passion of mine. So I understand, too, you've got a real estate piece that you do.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I received my bachelor's in building construction from Norfolk State.
Okay.
And in 2012, my wife, who's a lawyer, helped me establish our company.
Wonderful.
And in which we were single-family home investors, a buy and hold. We would rent out to mainly military and Section 8 tenants.
Okay.
And the idea was to set a standard, right, for families who didn't really have the income to live in a higher neighborhood, but the home that they live in didn't have to reflect that. Right, so our company is Ascension Realty, and our motto is setting a higher standard. So all of our homes are maintained as if they're in an A-class neighborhood, even though they may not be. But we just know that everyone wants to have a nice place to go home to us. So I'm blessed that when I go home, I have my wife and my children who make me feel like a king, and I think everybody should experience that.
Absolutely.
Right, since we've moved on from primarily single-family homes to more multi-families, right? 6 to 20 unit buildings, but the operation is still the same. The mindset is still the same. We're just focusing on expanding our reach in that regard.
I love it. So I'm certain you're familiar with opportunity zones. Have you heard a little bit about them?
Yes.
Are you taking advantage of that opportunity to grow your real estate company?
We're looking into what areas that we can invest in those opportunity zones to kind of go ahead and get our fillers off of that. But as of right now, we're not yet in it. Haven't found the right deal. So you still have to have the business portion of it. The numbers have to work.
Absolutely.
But as soon as something does, we'll definitely be in there.
I love it. I also know that you participated earlier in this year in Black Brand's Entrepreneur Fair at Booker T. Washington High School, and that you are a Booker T. alum.
Yes, sir.
What did it mean to you to be able to reach back specifically to your alma mater?
It means so much to me. In any opportunity that I have to go back to that school in particular, I take advantage of, because I'm a firm believer that it takes a different type of individual to walk through those halls. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody else's school or good about anybody else's school, but Booker T is unique, right? Agreed. It's unique in its location, it's unique in its circumstances and situations, and it means the world to me to go back and show those students, hey, I've been in your situation, right? I've experienced what you've experienced, and look at me now, right? So in any sliver of hope or inspiration I can give to someone, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So obviously the focus there for us is inspiring entrepreneurship, really building this culture, right? To infuse that energy into the school. What are your plans in terms of maybe the real estate piece? Is that something that you're looking to help youth connect with?
Sure, yeah. So I'm already in talks with Norfolk State to set up a mentoring program in which I can take other individuals in the BCT field and give them some hands-on experience. You know, the biggest shock to me being an actual investor now in real estate is not the way it was in the books. You know, everything looks hunky-dory in the books, but when you get out there, it's all about problem solving. And then that's a skill that's not really taught in school in the way that we're doing it now. So of course you need to know the information, but when you get out in the real world, it's totally different. And it's like that with, I think, every vocation to an extent, right? So it's not a slight on building construction at all. So working to establish a pipeline there. And we're also working to get our mentorship programs in high schools, right? So we have a beautiful mechanism to help a high school student figure out what they want to do in life and then set a roadmap to getting there from high school, college, through their vocation, through retirement, right? And that's a service we provide to those schools for absolutely free. We've had these programs in Detroit for several years because I was there for so long. But now that I'm retiring here, I'm anxious to bring all of our resources down here, and they can be tremendous.
Thank you.
No need to thank me. It's my joy to do so.
We are excited. If you've just tuned in, this is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today. We are sitting with now retired football player.
Happily retired,
Mr. Don Carey. We're talking about just entrepreneurship, his work through the Reach Foundation. We're talking about his intentions to give back in terms of entrepreneurship through Norfolk State. I do want to urge you, call in if you have questions for this distinguished gentleman. It's 757-727-5711. Again, 757-727-5711. Our phone lines are open. Talk a little bit about how folks can connect if they have children that maybe you want to be a part of what you're doing with Reach.
Sure. The easiest way to connect would be through our website, reachfoundation.org. There's a contact us page there, or you can reach out to me on social media at Don Carey Speaks. Across all platforms, and I'm very reachable, right, in that regard. So if you send an email through the website or hit me up on social media, you'll get a quick response.
Wonderful. And when is the next cohort for the STEAM program? Is it summer?
It will be this summer coming up.
Okay.
So we're endeavoring to host all of our camps at Norfolk State University. You know, they've done tremendous work on campus to kind of revitalize the look of it, and we would love to do our part to bring the community in so they can see the good things that Norfolk State has to offer.
I couldn't agree with you more. Norfolk State has done quite a bit. Yeah. Okay, great. So we've got that information. Would you reiterate for us, it looks like we might have a caller as well, but if you could reiterate what's happening with the holiday season in terms of Reach.
Sure. So once again, the Reach Foundation is partnering with Charles Black of 95.7. He hosts his Charles Black Gives Back Clothes Drive. And through our partnership, we have a toy and clothes drive that will be benefiting children in Norfolk and Virginia. So if you would love to participate, please go to reachfoundation.org. You will see the approved drop-off locations and the type of material we're asking for. We would greatly appreciate it. It's a great way to touch someone's life, right? And it may be insignificant to buy a toy or article of clothing, but trust me, from experience, it has a tremendous impact on the person receiving it.
Goes a really long way. We've got a caller on the line. Black Wall Street Today. This is Blair. Who's on the line?
Hi, my name is Chandra.
Hi, Chandra. Do you have a question for Don?
I do.
Okay, go right ahead.
All right, thank you. Hello. My question is, and I admit that I stepped out of my car for just a moment, so I may have missed some of what you said. I apologize in advance if you've already talked about this. But my question has to do with post-high school people, mostly young men, post-high school young men. So they graduated from high school, but are not really necessarily tapped in or engaged in, certain aspects of, trying to find direction, trying to figure out what they want to do. I just see a lot of that, and they seem to be really struggling in several senses. So I'm just wondering, does your work reach them, or are you pretty much concentrated on the ones that are still in school?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for the question. The Reach Foundation primarily is working for those in schools, but we've had extensive talk about individuals who are in between college or universities, or may have left high school and went straight into vocations, and I would love to figure out a way to reach them as well, but as of now, we haven't figured out a way to do that. But I would say that the program that we have for the high school students can still work for them, and individuals who are willing to put a year into this program will benefit absolutely free. We'll pay for that for them. So if you know some gentlemen, young men who would benefit from such a program, please feel free to contact me on the Reach Foundation website or through social media, and we can work something out.
Awesome.
Okay, I will do that. So very important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chandra, thanks so much for calling in. Phone lines are still open. It's 757-727-5711. If you have a question for Don Carey, I've got a question for Don Carey.
Sure.
I love to ask this question. What advice would you give to someone perhaps just starting out in entrepreneurship?
Firstly, congratulations, right? I mean, they've
Huge
made
decision,
right?
right?
They've made a huge but great decision. So in my reading, I found that 60% of jobs for individuals 30 years or younger go to individuals in the entrepreneurship role, which means that our country is going from a place where you could once upon a time go to high school, go to college, latch on to some Fortune 500 company and climb up the ladder. It is not so much working like that anymore. So it behooves individuals to figure out, number one, what are they passionate about? What can they do to, put a good product out there? How do they properly market that product? And then get into the system of entrepreneurship here in America. So.
Interesting statistic. I'm going to have you repeat it. 60% of jobs are now going to individuals who have an entrepreneurial skill set?
Yeah, individuals 30 years or younger, right? So we're talking about the latter years of millennials getting into Generation Z as they get a little older. So that those individuals are going to find more success if they start their own business than had they latched on to a Fortune 500 company.
I think that's a fascinating statistic, and I think it's true across the board. I'm even hearing of folks in dentistry, just in every field who have had to resort to entrepreneurship. They're working as independent contractors rather than working as employees, and I do think the system sort of favors that. And
I think one thing is when a nation kind of starts to stagnate in terms of innovation, then you will see society kind of lean towards this mindset of entrepreneurship as a way to kind of jumpstart an economy to get things going back again. So this upcoming generation is a very important one in terms of what America is going to look like 50 years down the road.
I agree. There's definitely a heightened focus on entrepreneurship. I mean, with all of the different organizations that have come about, all of the different competitions again, energize our youth and on the workforce in general to build opportunity. I think it's great. Stay with us online at Black Wall Street Today on Facebook and Black Wall Street Today on Instagram, and then follow us on Twitter as well at BWS Today. We look forward to talking again next week. Have a wonderful week. I have said and I will continue to say that the most important priority for the Black community is the Black community, not a particular political party. Phenomenal.